KATSEYE isn't the first group to deal with internal issues, and they definitely won't be the last. However, they're one of the few whose struggles were aired in an 8-episode Netflix documentary for the world to see. Whether it was members missing practices or accusations of favoritism and discrimination, here's the problem with KATSEYE. In February 2021, HYBE partnered with UMG's Geffen Records to create the first US-based global girl group modeled after the K-pop training system. They recruited trainees from around the world, placing them in dorms where they underwent intense K-pop style training. Just like in Korea, these trainees spent 9 hours a day in classes, practiced late into the night, and faced monthly evaluations that determined whether they could stay or be sent home, eventually leading to their participation in the Dream Academy survival show. The 6 trainees that made it in the end debuted as KATSEYE, and all seemed fine. However, everything changed when Netflix released the Pop Star Academy documentary, highlighting the intense challenges trainees faced, the demanding training, grueling schedules, and fierce competition among members. In fact, it was the rivalry between them that really caught everyone's attention. The animosity between the trainees seemed to have started early on when member Manon first joined them. The first sign of a problem came when it was revealed that Manon wasn't living in the dorms with the rest of the girls anymore. According to the documentary, she was living with them initially, but there were some issues with her missing classes and curfew because she thought having meals with her family was more important. This led to her moving out of the dorm and into her aunt's place. Aside from the living situation, there was another problem. Manon had no experience as a performer before HYBE contacted her. She didn't know the basics of singing and dancing, and since she joined late, she was noticeably behind the others in terms of skills, which continuously showed on her rankings. But even though she wasn't a match for the others at that point, she undeniably had the it factor that many agencies look for, so it's understandable why HYBE was so set on keeping her. Fans might want the industry to be all about talent, but the truth is that this is not their top priority. So if a company spots a trainee with star potential, they will keep training them to reach their standards rather than just giving up on them. That seemed to be the case with Manon too. She didn't train as long as the others, but HYBE handled that by arranging personal trainers for her and sending them to Switzerland to help her improve her skills before she headed to Los Angeles. It's evident that they wanted to have her in the group, and the other girls might have noticed. Another thing that Manon seemingly needed to improve was her work ethic. When she signed up to be a HYBE and Geffen Records trainee, in addition to lack of professional training, Manon also didn't know how the K-pop training system worked and how intense it was. Initially, she didn't take it as seriously as she should have, even admitting that she treated it more like school, where she could skip days if she felt unwell or not up to it. There was also the fact that she had COVID at the time, so she didn't show up to practice sometimes, which had the other girls questioning her commitment to this. Not only was she not putting in the same amount of work and dedication as the others, but she was also messing up their teamwork to the point that they had to learn 2 choreographies in case she didn't show up. Considering that they were going to debut as a group, they felt like she was selfish or that she didn't deserve to be there with the rest of them when, in their opinion, she hadn't worked as hard. Even the program manager, Missy, called Manon arrogant and said that her attitude was why she shouldn't be added to the group. So her absence seemed to have been the biggest problem the girls had with her, and they expressed it to her and other people whenever they could. For example, despite her absence, she came in 4th due to the public votes, and Adela, one of the most beloved trainees amongst the girls and the staff, came in last and was even eliminated because of this. This shocked everyone because Adela had especially put in a lot of hard work since the project started. Lara, who debuted with KATSEYE, especially expressed shock at seeing Adela at number 20 after witnessing the judges constantly rank her highly. While this was normal, some people didn't appreciate the fact that she added, "Then to see people who don't show up be at the top, it's just stupid. It's not based on how talented you are or like things that actually matter, it's based on how pretty you are." Then, in a private discussion with Dr. Wetter, the program's psychologist, it also became clear that the other girls, especially Adela, were frustrated with Manon's frequent absences. She talked about how Manon was getting a lot of attention despite not showing up for the team, concluding that the support the fans were showing for her was just because she was pretty and nothing else. Adela seemingly wasn't the only one to behave this way. There were also times when Manon returned to practice and overheard the girls whispering and laughing behind her back as she walked in, which, to some people, felt like mean girl behavior. Additionally, there is a part in episode 7 in which Adela and Naisha are seen at the beach after their elimination. Adela still mentions Manon, drawing comparisons between them. She says she and Naisha were passionate about the whole thing, while Manon didn't show up when they did. Adela says she breaks the rules and she doesn't get penalized for it. Like, now it's being completely ignored. It's surprising because we naively thought something else. To some, it was unnecessary for the producers to even show Adela and Naisha after being eliminated, when some trainees who actually made it into the group, like Yeonchae, received minimal screen time. A Twitter user posted, "The documentary should have been about how the girls' relationship started and how their bond grew, as well as the difficulty of debuting and being in a girl group in general. Instead, we have eliminated contestants crying about Manon. Seeing the girls having disagreements with each other to the point of holding grudges even after elimination, the viewers understood that this was the nature of the competition and that arguments were bound to happen. Still, they were confused about why this energy was only directed towards Manon. On the one hand, they understood that it must be frustrating for the girls to show up early to practice every day, stay overtime, always come in first in rankings, and then have another girl come in, not put in the same effort, and still get favored by the fans. Manon kept missing practice, jeopardizing their team in a survival competition where the winning group gained immunity. Without her, their chances of performing well were reduced, and it was valid for them to feel that way. On the other hand, people agreed that the girls went about it the wrong way. First, they argued that Manon was wrong for missing practice, but this was probably due to cultural differences. Since Manon is from Switzerland, a country whose work culture prioritizes its workers' mental and physical health, she probably thought it was okay to skip practice if she wasn't feeling okay or if she wanted to have a meal with her family members. This doesn't align with practices or the work culture scene in South Korea and the US, where it's heavily discouraged not to make work your priority. From this, we can understand why Manon thought her actions were okay and not a big deal, and why the others immediately labeled her as lazy and criticized her for not putting in any effort. Second, Adela's apparent anger towards her felt more misplaced than anything. Manon wasn't the only member who ranked higher than her, but wasn't on the same skill level as the others. A commenter brought up Yua as an example, who was seen struggling with vocals, yet she ranked in the 13th place. They went on to say, "It doesn't matter how talented you are. If you aren't able to attract stans, then why would they add you to the group? The people who are sending in votes are the people you know who will be willing to commit to buying albums and merch and supporting all your brand deals." In addition, it was brought up that the judges had mentioned that Adela wouldn't fit the group image because if they thought she was crucial to them, they wouldn't eliminate her after one round. It was also concluded that Manon behaved a lot more maturely than others as the one who took the higher road and took the initiative to resolve the conflict with them. She told Missy that she wanted to talk to the others, and when they gathered together in the practice room, Manon expressed that she felt frustrated with the situation. She explained that while she was aware that she had been missing practice, the other girls had done it too, and yet it was only taken out on her. When she asked the girls about their perspectives, Sophia said that the whole point of the program was discipline and hard work, being mindful, and things like taking notes and paying attention. Manon argued against this, reminding them that she had been taking notes, which was shown a few episodes back, but when she tried to defend herself, Missy told her to sit and listen. Sophia then said that her skills weren't the problem, but she didn't show up when needed. She ended it by telling Manon that she believes she can do it, which the latter found really sweet. Manon then explained her side, and the other trainees seemed to appreciate her honesty and acknowledged that she was doing better. This scene especially evoked strong reactions from the audience, with people wondering why Hype had decided to include it in the first place. Everyone knew it was nearly impossible to form a group without some conflict, especially in a survival show where the girls were constantly competing against each other for a spot and the public's attention. Some moments that Hype chose to share probably should have been kept private because scenes showing Manon being targeted have led people to support her and criticize the other girls who made it into the group. Manon and the others have already clarified that these conflicts have already been resolved. Still, Sophia and Lara have both experienced a lot of backlash for how they behaved towards her a few years ago. Some have also said that they would struggle to support the group after seeing some members' apparent personalities. They seem to agree that no matter what the members' relationship is now, the documentary still casts a negative light on certain members, which will stick with some viewers. Hype did indeed show the realities of being in a survival show and how situations can get tense in a matter of seconds, but at what cost? Manon gained a lot of solo stans, reaching tens of thousands of followers in a matter of days, which include Rosalia, Ginny and Georgia actress Antonia Gentry, and Heartbreak High actor James Majuse. The other girls, including the ones who didn't make it, are getting a ton of hate, so the whole documentary thing and showing the highs and lows of the industry seem to have backfired on Hype. What's important to remember though is that there are no villains and heroes here, and even though they had issues, they were resolved. Other conflicts could have easily been edited to portray certain members in a specific way or to shape the narrative however the producers wanted. In the end, the documentary may seem like a glimpse into KATSEYE's journey to debut, but it's really just a show edited for entertainment, as the documentary itself acknowledges. Instead of taking everything at face value, let's believe the girls when they say there's no tension and avoid creating drama where there isn't any.